Hi, thanks very much for joining me for another Marketing Monday. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. And every Monday, you can join me live here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitter to talk about various topics that have to do with practice development for your mediation or arbitration practice. And today, I just want to say hello. It's summertime. It's gorgeous outside. We've got our coffee. It's Monday. We're ready to start the week with energy and enthusiasm and optimism. And we also want to talk about how hard that might be for some of us. So today I want to talk about 8 easy social media marketing tips for introverts in ADR. It's something that, is not always easy for all of us to do, to get out there and network and be on social media and be responsive and do those kinds of things. So let's talk about 8 really simple ways that introverts, myself included, can do to build a practice and promote ourselves when it may not necessarily be our comfort zone. All right, let's get started. So I looked at positivepsychology.com, and positivepsychology.com indicated that up to 50% of the people surveyed considered themselves an introvert. And a very simplistic explanation of the difference between an introvert and an extrovert is where an extrovert might gain energy from being in a big crowd, an introvert needs time to recover and recharge when they've been in a big crowd. That's the very simplified version of it. And lots of us, apparently half of us, identify as being introverted. And so for introverted mediators and arbitrators, we're fine in the room. We're fine one-on-one. It's when we're put into a social situation that has lots of people or lots of stimulation and places lots of demand on us. And that's when we sometimes need a little bit of help. And social media is absolutely a key component in branding and brand building for your practice. It's something that we can't ignore. And so, how do we as introverts manage the demands of social interaction and still take care of ourselves? And that's what we're going to talk about. So we're just going to talk about 8 easy ways to help you improve your social media marketing without losing your sanity, without making you more stressed. And then at the end, one great app that I use that will help you get all of these things done. For some introverts, the control, I suppose is a good word, that is offered by social media actually makes it a better choice for us than face-to-face interactions. For others, there's sort of this constant noise of social sites, and that can be really overwhelming. And I understand that. But the important thing to remember is that whether you love or loathe social media, the most important thing is to find a social marketing strategy that works best for you and your potential clients. That's really what we want to work on. So we're going to start with creating a social calendar. I just think that this is so important. Introvert or extrovert, creating a social calendar is one of those things that can organize us, make us feel comfortable with what we're doing. We feel like we have things, well in hand. And that's what we're really looking for from creating a social calendar. A social calendar, I think, is really easy for introverts who get overwhelmed with just the sheer number of social posts and replies and activities required to build a personal or a business brand. For us, it's going to be a practice. But given that so many of these connections, which are critical to boosting your profile on LinkedIn or Facebook, Twitter, wherever you choose to be, it is just absolutely critical. You can't ignore it. You really, truly can't. So the best bet, I think, is by starting a social calendar that maps out exactly what you're going to post, where, and when, so that it helps you to make sense of all of your social media efforts. And using a calendar, it also gives you the opportunity to be socially spontaneous. Since your posts are already sort of penciled in and organized, you then have the opportunity to post about a networking event that you're attending or post about something that's topical in the news. So just because you've marked out on a calendar what you're going to post, when you're going to post it, on what platform, using which graphics, etc., and on which days you're going to respond to messages, and on which days you're going to connect with new people, on which days you're going to do all of these activities necessary on a social media platform, it is counterintuitive. It sounds like it actually is so regimented that it's restrictive, but actually, because of the way that you have organized things, it gives you more flexibility. So counterintuitive, but trust me, it really works. And then the second thing that I want to talk to you about is picking and choosing your people. The great thing about social media is how it offers connections to so many people. All of your potential clients are out there. Of course, the terrible thing about social media is that it offers connections to so many people, and that can be overwhelming. So, what you want to do, especially if you're an introvert, is you can avoid that flood of emotion. You can avoid that flood of opinions and ideas and connections that aren't quite right by really fine tuning who your people are. So, by identifying your practice specialty niche, the more tightly you can do that, the better. The easier it is to manage, the easier it is to have those conversations, the easier it is that you'll find a fit between yourself and prospective clients. So, find your people and connect with them. That doesn't mean you can't accept an invitation from anybody else who wants to connect with you, but when you're actively seeking out people to connect with, really truly only go to your primary target market connections and make that connectivity. The third thing we want to talk about on our list is finding a matching platform. Now, again, I know this is kind of a strange thing to think about, but when you think about each of these different platforms, they all sort of have a personality. Facebook is great for larger conversations. LinkedIn works well to connect with specific people. Twitter offers a space for, sort of those quick fire interactions. And Instagram, well, that's all about images, right? So you want to make things really, really simple and boil it down to whether or not your people are on that platform. So for most of us, that's going to be LinkedIn. Most of us are going to handle represented parties in a case, and that counsel, those attorneys, those lawyers are on LinkedIn. That's where we want to be. The exception to the rule, of course, is that if you deal with unrepresented parties, they have no counsel, then you need to be where they are. So if their preference is to be on Facebook, you need to be on Facebook. If their preference is on Twitter, you need to be on Twitter. If they're on Insta, be on Insta. Wherever your people are, that's the platform that you need to occupy. And it's a very rare practice that requires you to be on multiple platforms at the same time. Most of us have a practice that allows us to choose LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or on down the list you can go. So choose one platform, do it really, really well. And then if you feel it's necessary, you can add another platform in. But you need to find your matching platform, the platform where you're comfortable and that resonates with your prospective clients. And that will make being an introvert much less stressful because you're where your people are. Next on our list, number 4, is curating your content. And an important note, I think, to creating and curating content is that we don't need to be, nor is it appropriate for us to be, posting about our personal lives. And that takes off a big load, right? Lots of stress gone right there. Bam. Number 4 takes away a lot of that stress. We can post about our industry. We can post about current law. We can post about news items. We can post about funny things, sad things, interesting things. You can create lots of posts that will resonate with your primary target market that don't have anything whatsoever to do with you. And in fact, it probably shouldn't be about you. Not that you're not lovely, but what people want to read and get from you is a sense that you understand them. like all of us, they really want to know what's in it for them. So if you can provide a post that is informative or educational or entertaining, that's what you're looking for. And when those posts speak directly to the people most likely to hire you, that's gold. So you've got to decide what content you post, what you keep private. And I think that for most of us, our private lives are kept private. So you might have more than one account on Facebook, more than one account on Twitter, understanding that all of them are made public, and you still need to be careful as a neutral about what it is that you post about yourself. But for the most part, you could post something personal, say, if it had to do with you recently having graduated from Harvard's program on negotiation. You've recently been placed on the roster of NADN, something like that. It's still personal, but it's primarily relevant to your practice and is important for your primary, secondary, or even tertiary target market to know about you. So the number 5 tip we've got for today is tracking your social media metrics. I know it's a little dull, maybe, but it is important. And all that you need to do, very simply, is look back at the posts that you've put forward and look at the days that you've put them out there, look at the times that you've put them out, and just do a little tracking about how many eyeballs were viewing your post, how many people commented, how many liked it, how many shared it, what kind of engagement do you get? Do you get more views, posts, likes, comments on a Monday morning? Do you get more interaction on a Tuesday afternoon? Do you get more on a Saturday? What is it that your people want to see from you and when? And you can easily track that. If you're on LinkedIn, you can look at the About section, click on your post, and as you scroll down, you'll see all of that information. If it's a blog or YouTube, they provide you Google Analytics and YouTube Analytics. You can look at all of those different spreadsheets and graphs and figure out how to really optimize the communication that you want to have with folks. And I think that that's really important to not miss. It can be difficult to spot a trend if you are new to posting. So if you've got a bunch of posts, you want to run them out about 60 days, then look back and see if you can spot the trend. Then number 6 on our list is opt for one-on-one interactions. Introverts are often incredibly engaging and social. I think that one of the big misconceptions about being an introvert is that we are fun-loving, exciting, great people in social situations. We're not all antisocial. And when it comes to one-on-one interactions, that's where we really shine. And as mediators and arbitrators, of course, we all know how important it is to network. Networking works. Consider a party with hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're out there having a good time. Spotting the introvert is not that difficult. Most often, the introvert in the room will seek out a single individual or a small group. We tend to sort of set up camp as opposed to mingling amongst the group. So you can find us as wallflower types, and that's okay. It works, and the reason is because even though it might take us a bit longer to build up that large group of connections, that large group of folks with whom we're having interpersonal business relationships, we still create really strong, very loyal connections in networking environments. So you don't want to give up on that one, right? Square one for the introverts amongst us. But one-on-one in a social media environment or an online environment is a little bit trickier, but the same approach absolutely works. So as people make comments on your posts, consider reaching out to them with a direct message, strike up a conversation with them, use your mediator skills and ask them the open-ended question. These are one-on-one conversations where you really can shine, where you can, socially be without, where you can be socially without the need to navigate all of the multiple, interactions that a live networking event would require of you. Number 7 is, if that still doesn't work, hire help. Because social media marketing is not something you should avoid doing. Just because it's uncomfortable for you, just because you're not great at it, just because you don't have time to do it, doesn't mean you can just take it off the list of things that have to be done. Social media is one of those things that has to be done, and it needs to be done well. And if you've looked at the tutorials, you've watched the videos, you've read the books, you've done all of those kinds of things, and it's still really not for you, still not comfortable, still not something that you feel like you can master really well, that's okay. You have to then just hire someone to help you with it. A virtual assistant, a company, hire somebody to outsource those kinds of activities to, because you really don't want to let this one slide. And then number 8 is kind of going back to the calendar. And number 8 is creating and scheduling posts. And I understand as introverts, we can really easily get overwhelmed from time to time by all of the demands placed on us, not just in social situations, but on social media platforms. All of the conversations, all of the likes, all of the notifications, all of the noise on the platform can be too much for us. That's okay. One way that you can sort of solve this problem is to just sort of opt out and use an app, a scheduling app, so that you can then sort of, with confidence that your posts are being posted, you can step away from the platform and find the quiet that you need, or do the work that you want to do, or take the holiday that you want to take. But when you use a scheduling app, you can pre-program all of the release of your posts in such a way then that it's simply off your day to day and you don't have to worry about it. And so the app is working for you on your behalf while you're doing other things. And my favorite, my go-to, and again, I don't own part of the company. I don't get anything for recommending this group. It's not an affiliate, none of those kinds of things. This is the app that I use and that my folks use on behalf of my clients, and that is Canva. Canva, canva.com. And if you get the pro level, if you get the pro version of Canva, you'll have access to the content planner, and you will be able to set out all of your social media posts well in advance, a year in advance, even more in advance, and then remove that item off your list of things that stress me out, right? So again, there's just sort of no way around it. Extroverts, introverts, everybody, we can find social media to be stressful. And I don't want that to be the situation for you. It is a powerful tool to have in your arsenal of practice development. And I really hope that you'll use it and be good at it and feel good about it, because it is absolutely possible to strike a balance between building your personal brand, your public brand, your entity brand, build your private practice, and do it in such a way that it lets you prioritize what is best for you, your levels of stress, your choices for communication. It really does let you shine in a way that is authentic and good for you. So I hope, though, that with some of these tips, they'll push you to maybe do a little bit better, recognizing still, of course, that introversion, it's not really a problem to solve. It's just a different approach to the world, and that it actually is sometimes a great gift, and it lets us cultivate more direct and in-depth one-on-one connections. So use that to your great advantage. Make those connections, really make them count. It really is so much fun. And again, like I said, it's not something that we can avoid. So that is everything I wanted to chat about today, a short little Marketing Monday for you. I hope that you enjoy your coffee and moving on with the rest of your day. Again, my name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to address in upcoming episodes of Marketing Monday, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section, and I will put it on the list and get to it. Thanks very much. Be good, humans.